Alright, so I wanted to touch upon a couple of things which maybe by now people are aware about: the coming UFO disclosure, between that and the hantavirus crisis, and also we have a food crisis up here in Canada, which means that there's going to be days, I think, where I'm probably going to be feeling a bit tired, or I'm not going to be able to have the energy to do a whole lot like I wanted to. I feel like I'm backtracking, repeating myself about things which I've touched upon in the past, and a lot of things that I'm talking about right now. I feel like I'm on repeat because a lot of stuff that I've worked on in the past just got taken down, and it's exhausting for me having to go backtrack. I think that's the point with all the censorship happening with Bill C-11 and the other censorship bills that are coming, Bill C-9. I should be going out there trying to find a doctor because I've been basically burning the candle at both ends, and I don't really think that I'm going to be able to reach many people. This is not going to be a video which I don't think it's going to reach a lot of people. I'm just using a backup. I'm going to plan to maybe make another channel in the future, a good one. Once I get back on my feet, I was hoping that by this time I would have found my group of people, we would have gotten together and maybe built a bigger channel, Once I've found my group, preferably a good woman, but I don't think that even the Christian community even want to get involved in that. I think, though, that at the end of the day, I think the common man, like right now, honestly, a lot of good, hardworking men, they're just going to have to, well, how should I say this? As always, stay crafty, I guess. You really want to try and keep a journal. You want to make sure that you become more self-sufficient because, like myself, I can't really count on people for support if I needed it, A lot of the stuff that's happening in the news, what it did to me, it didn't really do me much good except caused me a lot of aggravation, and now I think I might have stomach ulcers. Every time I look at the news, it just makes me feel worse. I think that's part of the campaign. Like one celebrity, I'm not going to name his name, but he wasn't a Christian, but he did say it best. He said, there's just a campaign of fear and consumption. Keep everyone afraid, and then they'll consume. And that's the gist of that. I don't like the man, like he wasn't, like I said, Christian believer, but I mean, he had a pretty good beat on things when it came to that. He understood the industry and what they were about. I'm probably going to be not getting into the mainstream because some of the topics that I've talked about in the past, I may be talking about other things, like maybe, I don't know, aliens or the coming great deception, which a lot of people are probably going to fall for. Of course they will. I mean, let's face it, every time people, they get a little bit scared, what do? Like, this new hantavirus going to affect people? Like, if it's going to infect people, excuse me. Yeah, I suspect that they're going to rush to their governments, and they know the drill, like before the last time. Only this time they're going to be having more freedoms taken away. I don't believe that this is going to end with a chip or a mark or a quantum dot. I don't really think that's going to be the case. I'm not entirely sure on that, though. But I just say, whatever the government pushes to you, please do your research. Don't rush to take anything until you know what it is, please, because, like, there's a saying in the elites, they say problem, reaction, solution. Or, rather, someone else said, you never let a crisis go to waste. So, yeah, what had happened with COVID the last time? What did people do? They rushed to take the shots, they were left in quarantine, and the pandemic really affected a lot of people's lives. And the aftermath, I can't speak for everyone, but it's affected me a lot. A lot of people today are not even wanting to get out and get together anymore. They just stay at home a lot. And it's a really sad thing because had that not had happened, maybe my life would have turned out to be very different. I never would have suspected that things would get like this, but yeah, like I was saying before, just stay crafty. Don't let people take away the thing that you have left, your energy, your essence, because if you're a creative type like me, that's most important. A lot of people, they may or may not understand your situation. It's probably better just to stay out of the way if you can't find a way to help them, because lying to people like myself, I believe in when certain people say, oh yeah, you're a nice guy, well, I'll give you a donation. Don't just talk about it, why not just do it, like, I've been lied to before, and you know what that does to guys like myself? Like, I actually start to believe what people say, because I think that not everybody, I know they mean well, but I think, though, it's probably best to not say anything, but just rather do it, because I'm just sick and tired of lies, like, if Christians, for example, if they were really, truly good, they would have helped me. They wouldn't have just said, oh, I'll pray for you, or, such and such, I'll share your videos. Guess what? I never asked for people to do that. My goal was never to be, famous or anything like. I think that's why people they misunderstand what I'm about. By this time, I didn't want to still be here on YouTube in this basement, where you know what I had other plans. You know, people they don't see me as anything else like but just a regular guy. Like that's fine. I don't. I'm not gonna try to convince anyone. You know, like everybody is different. Everybody has different paths. Okay. You know what? I just tell people, listen, just be safe, because if I'm gonna be, as I said, you know, censored again, like the last time when I told people, same as always, try to get prepared, and I might just be preaching to the choir. But like I said, you know what? There's gonna be days, no matter what you do, no matter how well you prepare, you may end up in a situation, especially for the men, that you're gonna just be going days without food or human social activity. What you don't do is you rush to the bottle, or in the case of people that go downtown for like free meals, like they're homeless, but they're numbing themselves and they're forsaking their God-given energy, and now they have to get that fix because they can't handle it. You know, they can't handle the emptiness. I think a lot of people, they just don't have that you know, that essence. You know, like they're trying to get it from someone else. So somebody, I'm not going to name names, he said it best. It's called loosh farming. I'm not sure what that means. Just a lot of people are energy-sucking vampires, and I had to deal with a lot of that. And all they do is take. They don't reciprocate the same energy as you give to people. Like, I'm tired of giving my whole heart to people that don't give anything back in return. You know, I lost a lot of friendships because, you know, they just didn't really understand my backstory. They didn't want to understand me. Like, if I was sick for a couple weeks and I was actually looking to these people for help, and they thought that was my personality, you know, it's like that. And if I'm having a bad week or a bad month or year, people are going to assume, well, there's something wrong with me. But that's not generally the case. But a lot of people right now, they're just one paycheck away from being destitute. I made a video and I found my old footage. I had a beard on my face. I actually look younger now than I did over a year ago, because I was just burning the candle at both ends, making all kinds of videos. And sure enough, yeah, that channel got taken down. But that's something that, you know, people will have to see for themselves. The point of the story was, yeah, when the rent and everything else goes up, you're going to have to basically salvage whatever work you did in the past, maybe put it on the cloud or something. I know, like, maybe some people are going to have to do that, because if they're going to start losing things, like selling off stuff to pay bills and grocery bills, like right now people are spending money on credit that they don't have, you know. And I think a lot of people, they took for granted that, yeah, the COVID crisis is over, we can go have a good time, or the old normal is coming back. That's what they were told, you know, and now the hantavirus is going to bankrupt a lot of people, I think. I don't want to see that happen. I've seen people get out of a rut. They start out with nothing, and they built their dreams. They've got a lot of talent. Only one guy I can mention who has that creative spark, you know. The unfortunate reality is that he's surrounded by toxic people, and I can't, you know, like, it's like, I think he knows that his situation, but he doesn't have any other option. I mean, the very thing that's giving him creative energy is also slowly destroying him, and that's like an addiction. People get addicted to toxic friendships or environments, and I think maybe Charles Bukowski, you know, he said it best, like in one of his poems, "Too much, too little, or nothing." And I might pull up the link to poem. Charles Bukowski, he made a lot of good writing, but it was transmuted out of negativity and depression. I didn't want to end up like that. I didn't want to end up like one of those filmmakers or artists. Some people, like, they thrive on negativity, or they thrive in chaos. I know that people, they're just giggling and cackling away at their workspace, and they actually asked me to come volunteer. And you know what I said? I couldn't say no, hell no. I'll think about it. But you know what? These types of places, we have to deal with addicts that are willingly not willing to better themselves, just like people online who I talk to, they still leave their channels blank, and for me, that's just not good enough. I have to become very selective of who I allow in my circle, thinking that everybody who comes in my life pretending to be good people. I just, you know, at my age, at near my 40s, I can't trust anyone, you know. Like Ellie, she had her ministry, right? But she's been through a lot of pain. She went through hell. I'm sorry for the way that things worked out between me and her. I think that she really did have talent, and you know what? Good for her. God bless her. She really wants to pursue that because she definitely deserved that. But that said, you know, she really shouldn't have judged me based on what little she knew about me because my backstory is very lonely and sad, and trying to find the right people in my life, that was important. I eventually went over to talking to somebody right when the COVID pandemic began, you know, a sister of God, or so I thought she was. And this is what I was trying to get at, you know, just be careful about the people that you go to and you trust, because sometimes, you know, when people they may claim to be good and preach a lot, but it's not so much about what you preach, it's about what you put into practice. Like, I've learned as a small-time filmmaker, you know, Galatians 6:2. I think that's always been something that I could really relate to, you know, bear one another's burdens, like help people on your journey. I've always been, you know, a pretty good-natured kid, but unfortunately just surrounded by people. I got bullied a lot when I was a kid, and I've just been surrounded by a lot of toxic individuals, you know, and that can really have an everlasting impact on an individual, where to the point where he can't really create or do anything special or monumental by himself in a environment where it's negative. And now I worry about men and individuals who have nobody, and they're going to have to go through another round of like another year or so of being isolated. I don't know for how long. This may take years. And with the advent of AI slowly putting artists out of work, you know, I can't really see the future too well. I'm not a prophet. I've just been gathering a lot of information. A lot of information has just been flooding my way, but I can't talk about everything. I can only share my story, basically retell it. But yeah, I think though the gist of this is that people, they really gotta find good people offline, like a church. And not one of those LGBTQ churches, I mean a real church. And even if you're among friendly people, or people who are, you know, trying to open up to you, like, you just gotta not be as trusting. You know, you really gotta watch yourself, because some people, they may be, as they say, best kind, but in my case, last time I opened up to a person, shared my channel with a few individuals offline, next thing I know, all my work went missing. That's what really happened to me. So, yeah, I just say, you know what, protect your energy, your work. Whatever else happens, you know what, you can take that stuff with you on a hard drive when you leave, or put it on the cloud, because, you know, if people are going to be moving around, in the book of Matthew it says, like, you know, store up treasures in heaven, because all this stuff, as you see here, like the last time when I had a big studio, couldn't really take it with me. So, unfortunately, I wasn't able to make films or do anything positive here. And, yeah, I mean, if I do eventually move from this place, I won't miss it. I mean, I just had a lot of bad memories here, and I think, though, that it's very important to try to create good work, good memories, because, you know what, a lot of people, they are really struggling. They have a lot of mental issues like depression. I can't continue on like this on YouTube. If I have to go through again, yeah, I mean, I just can't go through what I did the last time with the pandemic. I may have to just say sayonara, sign off for YouTube for a while, because, yeah, I mean, in my circle, I've been trying to reach people, but I don't think that it's really working out for me, the YouTube thing. I just say to people, please find something positive to do on your own time. Turn off the news if it's not serving you, if it's not helping you. Just make sure that you have something to do in your day-to-day life that's positive, and when you're ready, you know, when your cup is full, then you can actually give back to people. I know people out there, they have their cups full and they're rich, and they still don't give anything back to help the people in their circle, and it's sad, you know. I think we're going to be seeing a little bit more selfishness and greed as time goes on, and, you know, just use your best judgment. Do what God says, try to find good people, because, you know, the times are getting really bad indeed. You know, some demonic, wicked people, like I met. You just gotta really discern, you know, which ones are actually genuine, and which ones have actually, well, whether or not they're Decepticons, demons in disguise. People, they do have demons. So you really gotta be careful. It's very important. Even Jesus, you know, he had to take time away in the desert, you know, because he just couldn't take it. He had to fast and he had to pray, get away from people, because I think that some people, they just got to do that, go on a cleanse, and and then discern what to do, during times of uncertainty. Amen.